I'm Gen 2 trash. I adore the 8-bit music and graphics, I adore Johto as a region, I love the Johto mons, and added amazing features such as held items, day and night cycle, days of the week, shiny Pokemon, 2 sweet new types, and on top of it all, you can go to Kanto after getting the 8 badges of Johto. But let's be real here, there are glaring issues with these games. You know, Pokemon availability is just spotty at best, the leveling is weird, some Johto mons are locked to Kanto. Just look up Gen 2 sucks, you will find plenty of videos of people going ham on these games. While I think ROM hacks like Crystal Clear, Crystal Kaizo, and Polished Crystal are all great in their own right, I was always hoping for a ROM hack that felt like Gen 2. If Game Freak realized that, there were issues with the game, and they had an additional year or so to fix them. While Crystal Clear being an open world game, where you can tackle the 16 gyms in any order you want, like that's such an awesome idea and all, but it didn't feel like Game Freak actually made it. If that makes sense. It's kinda hard to describe, but this feels like what Gen 2 could have been. Enter Pokemon Crystal Legacy, a ROM hack by TheSmithPlays that seeks out to make Pokemon Crystal more fun, but it keeps that iconic Gen 2 feel. There are no new Pokemon, the physical special split still isn't here, reusable TMs aren't here, and it doesn't get too fanfiction-y. There are some liberties, I guess, but they make sense for the most part, and it genuinely adds to the game. Let's dig into why this ROM hack fixes Gen 2, and it may very well be the way I play it from now on. For starters, there are a lot of Johto mons available much earlier in the game. Larvitar can be found at Dark Cave before the first gym. Houndour can be found right on Route 36. Misdreavus can be found in the Burn Tower. Murkrow can be found in National Park. And Porygon can be bought at the Game Corner, meaning that Porygon 2 can be obtained sooner. There are just some examples. But that's not all, though. Some Pokemon themselves have been buffed. For example, I decided to use Ariados for this playthrough because it gained 40 speed and 10 on both special stats. In addition to this, it also gained Mega Horn. Ariados is a genuine threat now, and it ended up being one of my best Pokemon for a hot minute there. Yanma was given a whopping 40 points to its attack stat, Murkrow was buffed across the board, Sneasel was given 35 attack points. These are only a few examples, but if one wants a full list, one can look at the Crystal Legacy document that TSP has prepared. I'll leave a link in the description. A lot of moves have been tweaked too, and this is one of the best things about the ROM hack, honestly. For example, Cut is now a bug-type move that has a high critical hit ratio. I tore shit up with Scyther at the beginning of the game. I even kept it on Typhlosion for a good while because it had its niche uses. It didn't feel like an HM that I just slapped onto an HM Mule because I had to. It felt like a genuinely decent move. Speaking of bug types, Pin Missile, Leech Life, and Twin Needle all got buffed. Some bug types, like Caesar, Ariados, and Heracross, they just feel so much better to use. Spike Cannon is now Steel type, which is just so awesome. It felt so pointless when it was a normal type move. Why the hell would you ever teach this move to something? Rock Smash was given a boost to 60 power, and it made it feel like an actual move. Waterfall was given a 30% chance to flinch to differentiate it from Surf. Giga Drain was buffed by 15 points. Sky Attack was made into a one-turn move. I could go on and on, but the document covers all this. Not just that, TSP diversified move pools too. Did everyone think it was so goddamn dumb that like Crobat and Venusaur, they couldn't learn Sludge Bomb, and they were poison types? Or how about Gyarados not being able to learn Fly, despite it being a flying type? This, along with buff moves, making weaker Pokemon more viable, and tweaking the moves themselves, it makes team building so painless. In fact, it got to a point where I was considering like 10 Pokemon or so for team members. Speaking of that, the point of this was to have Pokemon that I couldn't really have for a normal Crystal playthrough, or a Pokemon that were just buffed massively. I found a Larvitar in Rock Cave, so that one was a no-brainer. The Runes of Elf now gives the player fossils, so I decided to have Kabutops, because why not? You can't have him in a normal Johto playthrough. I already mentioned Ariados, who became a valuable member of my team. It had moves like Sludge Bomb, Mega Horn, Psychic, and Giga Drain. Oh, the other three though? I needed a flyer and I decided on Xatu. It's not much different than a normal playthrough to my understanding though. It always felt weird to me to dump my starter, so I kept Typhlosion. I'll probably dump my starter next time though. The Johto starters are inherently less interesting to me than other gens because I love dual type Pokemon. The last member. I found a shiny Mareep, so I had an Ampharos again for a Gen 2 playthrough. Maybe the meme is real. The gym leader themselves have been tweaked massively, and all of them were given at least one Johto Mon. Remember how Chuck was just borderline useless in Crystal? It had, like, what? A Primeape and a Poliwrath? Well, he has a genuine team now. Faulkner has a Noctowl, Morty has a Misdreavus, and so on and so forth. It makes them represent their region better, and they are tougher too. Gen 2 is on the easier side, so it's nice to see the bump in difficulty. General trainers will be better paced throughout the game as well. The quality of life improvements are off the charts. For starters, the running shoes exist. I know one complaint about Gen 1 and 2 in particular is how slow the character moves. It even works in the water somehow. This is a literal game changer. Another neat thing is the fact that trait evolutions are gone. Kadabra, Haunter, Haunter, Graveler, and Machoke all evolve by level, while the Pokemon that evolved while being traded with the held item, they can just be evolved by using the item like an evolution stone. I personally had multiple Gen 1 and 2 games, and Pokemon Stadium 2 with transfer packs back in the day, so treating Evos didn't bother me that much. But let's be real, they are simply a product of the past now, so I am very happy with this change. Speaking of obtainable Pokemon, all 251 Pokemon can be obtained on the cartridge, or emulation software. That's right, from Bulbasaur to Celebi, all the Kanto legendaries, starters, fossils, they've all been reinstated. The fossils will be given to the player after doing the associated runes of Elf Puzzle. HMs can now be deleted on the fly, which is just so awesome. Repels now have a reuse prompt. TM names are now visible. It's a lot of little tweaks like this that really help the end product. Every single TM can be bought now. This always bothered me in older Pokemon games. Single-use TMs aren't inherently bad per se, but it always annoyed me how only a few of them could be bought. You could argue that it adds a bit of carefulness and strategy, but I really like this new system. When you get far enough into the game, you can buy all of them. The only small complaint is that they are scattered throughout both regions, but hey, it's better than nothing. Speaking of both regions, while Kanto itself is still a bit bare, that was actually an intentional decision. That doesn't mean that TSP left it alone though. No. The trainers and gym leaders here are actually a threat. Blaine is a goddamn Moltres and a Sunny Day team. Lieutenant Surge uses Rain Dance along with Thunder and Surf to obliterate opponents. Erica will blast off Solar Beams with her Sunny Day team. Basically, most gym leaders have developed an actual strategy that uses new Gen 2 mechanics. It just breathes life into Kanto. I can agree with the fact that it should have been better in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. The leveling was whack and it made it underwhelming. I still think it's one of the better post-games in the series, as going around and stomping the 8 gym leaders was still fun in its own right. Do note though, there are still no Safari Zone, Cerulean Cave, Viridian Forest, etc. As great as this ROM hack is, there's still a couple of things that I'm not the biggest fan of. Meanwhile, the quality of life features are definitely there. I feel like they're going to be taken a bit further. For example, the backpack inventory has been expanded greatly, but it just takes forever to scroll through it. Sure, it's my fault for being a goddamn hoarder, but in general, text just moves so slowly, and that's really exemplified by the bigger inventory. Speaking of items, switching items between Pokemon is still kind of a pain in the ass. I always planned on having the front Pokemon to have the amulet coin. I gave up on that shit. It is just so tedious. The Team Rocket sections are better paced, but they still kind of feel too long and drawn out for my liking. TSP lowered the amount of battles and made them harder, but they can still drag a bit. Not a huge complaint, and it's certainly better than the original, but still kinda meh. Rematching the Elite Four felt kinda lame too. I love the idea, and getting a few more levels in before Red is nice, because he has a strong-ass team, but these teams just kinda feel stapled together. I don't know the best way of putting it, but they just felt like half-assed to me. The legendary beasts are just still such a pain in the ass to catch. I still need to find Entei. I just don't want to bother. It takes like hours. Maybe I'll trade it for my completed silver file. Hunting them down is just such a pain. First, you gotta find them to even add them to the tracker. At least they've removed Roar from their movesets. That is a good improvement. You know what? I'm just gonna stop there. I don't want to spoil everything. I could talk about Gen 2 all day. I really could. I appreciate what TSP has done with Gen 2. It feels like the definitive way to play Gen 2 if you're still square enough like me. As I said in the intro, even with more ambitious mods like Crystal Clear, I still see a ton of value in this ROM hack. It feels like what Gen 2 could have been if playtesters gave honest feedback, and if Game Freak had extra time to work on the game and fix that. You know, just the annoying oversights like Pokemon availability, bad move pools, weird pacing. It holds this game back for a lot of people. I totally get why people don't like Gen 2, even if they do hyperbolize it a lot. I love that even with these flaws, people still love this gen. It's a lot of people's favorite, mine included. It's so nice to play a more polished version that doesn't go overboard. It still feels like Gen 2. Want to know what's even better than that? TSP is still working on the game. On December 3rd, 2023, he put up a video on his channel that goes over the new changes added in version 1.2.1. Things like a new hard mode, a revamped battle tower, the move reminder, a revamped Pokedex that's actually useful, and loads of other stuff. Unfortunately, save files are not compatible, but it also gives me a good reason to just start all over again. I'm kind of itching to play it again already. I adore Gen 2. I love the music, graphics, Johto region, Johto mons. It's nice to play a version that feels just as good as I remember it when I was a wee lad. In my love letter to Pokemon Gold and Silver video, I mentioned that these are some of my favorite games of all time. I still stand by that, but now they're even better. Thanks, TSP. This very well might be how I play Gen 2 going forward. I even flashed it on a cartridge. Pretty neat, huh?